Everybody, how you doing? Welcome to day 2. Herbert, good to see you here. Kevin, awesome to have you here. Clark, back again. Joy, good to see you. Dora Traver, all the way over there on the East Coast, good to see you. Where are we? George, Frank, Justin, Pedro, Fernando, Tom, Jeff, Andy, Aaron, good to see you. Who else we got in here? We've got a bunch of people jumping in. Sheila, good to see you. Jeff, Dana, good to have you, my friend. Looking very handsome there. I thought there's a fake background or a real background. Is that real or fake? That looks like a pretty groovy office, wherever that is. Welcome to Antonio. Kyle, good to have you back, my friend. Awesome to see you here. Now, who else we've got here? Thad, good to see you, Thad. Mary Murray. A lovely blank window there. Nice to see you here. Who else? We've got a bunch of people jumping in here. William, good to have you here. Glenn, good to see you. Charlie, awesome to have you. Andy Sharp, Aaron, awesome. Welcome. Got a whole bunch of people jumping in here, giving you time to get on. We are day 2 of a live training. Yesterday we had some fun. Got some feedback in the Facebook group, which is awesome. The training, the recording was in the Facebook group. If you haven't joined the Facebook group and you want to know where the replays are, you can go to the Facebook group. And if you haven't, a lot of people ask me a whole bunch of questions about Extendly. I'm not going to give you an affiliate link. You can just go and look at their stuff directly. If you haven't engaged with them, they're amazing with support, backup, and chat and customer service for Go High Level. They've got an amazing team. Bayan and Steve and the team over there do awesome work. A lot of people did ask me. I don't have an affiliate link. I don't make any money out of this. I'm going to make sure that if you want to have a look at what Extendly is doing, they've got some amazing snapshots. They've got some really cool training that they provide as well. So you just go to getextendly.com and jump in there. If you haven't already jumped in the Facebook group, the reason you may not have seen the thank you or the after you've actually subscribed to this, there was a page inviting you to book in the Facebook group. It's where I'm placing the replays and the recordings of these sessions. So all these sessions are being recorded. They're going to go into the group. Now, they'll only be up till probably Sunday, Monday, and I'm going to take them down. Now, you might ask me, why would you take all these fantastic trainings down, John? Because I know that most of you aren't going to watch them. So I figure that if I pull them, you're going to get to them, right? That's the deal. And so, because I know that a lot of people say, "What's the replay? Where's the replay?" And most people don't watch the replay. So to encourage you to watch the replays and get the benefit of this training, I'm going to be taking those trainings down at the end of this week. In fact, probably about Monday night. So you want to get to them before that. Now, today it's all about appointments and how to generate appointments. I'm going to give you a bit of a bonus training today because I had a bit of an exercise. I'm going to share a strategy where I generated 5 appointments in 90 minutes and I generated 11 other appointment opportunities with companies that got lots of money to spend. I did that in a 90-minute period today. I had a bunch of the people I coached join me at a particular event and we all went prospecting live for clients that had lots of money to spend on marketing and on you. So I'm going to share a little bit about what I did, how you can do the same, and I'm going to give you a resource that you can use that can literally open you up to thousands and thousands of appointment opportunities. I'm going to do that closer to the end of this presentation. So I am recording this live, and what I'm going to do is from time to time I'm going to stop. I like to kind of interact with you and know that you're awake and alive and that you can actually hear me. So I'm going to ask you some questions to respond along the way. The reason I do this is because your learning or your capability to impact your learning gets greater if you participate in this process, right? This is not a spectator sport. If you intend lurking and just watching this stuff, I would encourage you to go and get an appointment or a client or do something else other than just listen to me. Because if you're just listening to me and not going to take some action on this sort of stuff, I am wasting your time. You are wasting your time with me. So please don't, if you're just sort of thinking I'm going to passively listen in, I'm just going to hang out, please don't. You're better off going making some money. Don't listen to me. You'll be wasting my time and you're certainly going to be wasting yours, right? So I know that's an odd thing to say, but I kind of want to make sure that I'm giving you the best that I can so that you can maximize your opportunity to generate results. So, speaking of results, anybody willing to share any action that they took? I see Thad says, went to a networking event last night after the call, had a full call today, should sign a contract on Tuesday when I go to a shop person. Thad, congratulations for taking some action, dude. Well done. We should all be applauding Thad. Who else? We've got anybody else? I'm not bashful.
I'll give you a back, John.
Yep.
So I'm not bashful this way either. So listening to you on stage in Tampa last week, just your matter of factness and pointedness, and really honestly, a whole lot of the people that were there in the pod group really made me take a whole different approach. So today I had 5 interviews for new employees. I'm replacing 2 non-performing employees with 3 that want to get the job done. And since I left Tampa and came home, I've closed $87,000 in new business.
Woo! Well done, man. That's in a week. $87,000. Congratulations. Yep. This is what we do for that. We praise you. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. That is amazing, Tom. Well done. Congratulations.
So your message is right on. We just got to go do it. I made the joke last night that I've been building something for 2.5 years, and I have. And it started before I found High Level. And then I'm just building on it and doing it on the side of my main agency that I took over. And I just decided, nope, it's time to go. We're going to launch. We're going to strip it down to here's the offer for one feature and then go and expand it from there. But so I appreciate the motivation. Meeting you in Tampa was great, and look forward to the rest of these classes.
Tom, thank you so much. $87,000 in closed deals in 1 week. That's insane. That is insane. That's what I call massive action taking. I think, Joy, you've got your hand up. You want to do a bit of a share? Feel free to unmute.
Yes, she does want in. Forgive me, my assistant is trying to talk to us and let us know that she wants to come inside. I have followed up with one person, I'm starting to get them into the booking process, and I am putting a lead gen out on Facebook, and I have pulled a list from White Label, and I have got 60 names that I've put on my list to start calling, and that starts tomorrow and Friday.
Well done. Awesome action taking. So we're going to get into the slides here. Congratulations to those who took some action. I'm going to share a couple of other people who took some action as well, which is pretty cool. They were kind enough to post in the Facebook group. And I'm going to share something with 2 people that I coach who literally sent me a message today. So I'm going to share their message with you to give you the perspective of the mindset of what you are selling and what price points you should be selling things at. So these are people that have closed deals in the last 24 hours, right? For Go High Level, running lead management, doing email marketing, right? And what they're charging. And the one person who's only been with me for 3 days, in the first 3 days, I closed a $4,400 upfront payment sale for an email marketing campaign. One email marketing campaign in Go High Level, not including all the other stuff they're going to bump the client up into. And I have another person who is just an absolute incredible person, a single mum who has a special needs child who has come through amazing adversity over the last 2 months, has built her business now into a $50,000 a month recurring business. And she shared with me today that she closed a $5,000 upfront and $5,000 a month deal in 20 minutes using a simple strategy that I gave her about a week ago. I did some training on Monday, and she took the one idea from the training, and she's got a $15,000 upfront client and with ongoing $5,000 a month. And this all happened in the last 24 hours. So it just goes to show that when you take a little bit of action and value what you do, what is actually possible in the marketplace. And so I want to talk about probably the most important thing that will drive your business. It is the only two things that you need to be doing and nothing else in your business. Number one is to consistently make appointments. Number two is to present people with an idea or an offer to invest in your services. Those are the only two things that is your job. There's the only two things you need to do, nothing else. If you are doing anything else other than those two things, you're wasting your time and you're not growing your business, right? Understand, a lot of people get caught up in this, I've got to do the fulfillment. No, you don't. You use people like Extendly and other people to do the fulfillment for you, right? You shouldn't be doing fulfillment. You should be doing strategy. You should be doing business development. You should be working on and growing this business. So much so that when you hit a certain milestone, you're going to hire an SDR. That SDR is going to fill your calendar up without you in it, right? And then ultimately, if you've really got a great SDR, that SDR might turn into your first salesperson. And when you have a salesperson making a sale in your business, the first time somebody makes money for you without your input, that is the beginning of freedom. That is the beginning of freedom. Your business is growing without you. Somebody else is filling your calendar. Somebody else is filling the sales pipeline, right, in terms of what you're doing. So this is an area a lot of people struggle with. I understand why they do struggle with this, but I just find that it's unnecessary struggle, because I've been in rooms. So in fact, the last time I did this, I was in a room with about 500 people in the room, and I asked 500 people to do two things. One, to invite people to take advantage of an offer that they have monetarily, and two, to send out a message saying that they'd like to help people in a certain way, and if they're interested in that outcome. Those are the two messages. Now, I had 500 people in the room, and we gave them 5 minutes to literally go and send that message out to people, right? And over the preceding, within the first 3 hours, one person made $3,500 in cash banked sales in their Stripe account from a direct money offer. Over a 2-day period, so within 48 hours, somebody made $22,000 in sales just by making a direct offer of their services to people that were on their Facebook list, not to an email list, to Facebook people, right? We had another person that within an hour of me sharing the ideas booked 23 appointments within 1 hour with one message, right? We had several people come up to me over a 48-hour period at that event. And we only did this, it took 5 minutes. It took 5 minutes to do this, right? Now, here's the thing that really bothered me about this whole idea of generating results immediately. Of the 500 people in the room, I came back an hour later and I asked this question: how many people actually sent a message, sent an invitation to an appointment, or sent a money offer? Out of the 500 people, about 78 of them sent a message. Out of 500 people, 78 people sent a message. Of the 78 people that sent a message, 52 of them got appointments. 52 had got appointments in less than an hour of sending the message. 52. 5 of them got more than 20 appointments in an hour. 5 of them got more than 20 appointments in an hour, booked in their calendar, that they could show as evidence to the group, literally holding up their mobile phone saying, here are the appointments, right? And we had 3 people in the hour that made cash, where people just paid the money into their accounts, right? 3 people made money. Now, the 433 people who didn't bother sending a message in that hour, the next day we asked the same question, right? Of the remaining 433 people that didn't send a message on the first day, about half of them sent messages the second day. More than 80% of them had made an appointment from their message. More than 80% of them made an appointment. Most of them making an appointment minutes after sending the message. Minutes after sending out their messages, right? And the reason why this happened is not because the offer was fantastic, and not that the offer was spectacular anyway. I'm actually going to give you the message. I'm going to give you several of them that you can use that work, right? It wasn't that. It was that they had, for a moment in their time, focused on actually generating an appointment. They were told to go and make one, so they did. And the silly thing is, they could do this every single day if they wanted to, and they could make appointments all day long. But for whatever reason, they get caught up in everything else other than making an appointment. And then wondering why their businesses aren't growing and making any money or generating any level of growth or engaging in conversations or meaningful conversations with people. They were wondering, why on earth is that happening to me? And the reason is pretty simple. They're not focused on making appointments. So guess what? No appointments. If it's not important for you to make appointments, then you're not going to make any. If you're not going to make any appointments, you don't make any money. It's pretty simple, right? It's like the most crazy idea that if I actually focused on the thing that I wanted, that I would get it. And if I just avoided the thing that I wanted, that I wouldn't get it, right? It's funny how life works. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of different processes. I'm going to share with you some messaging methodologies that I would encourage you to use. And if you're brave enough, I'd love for you to send the messages while I'm doing this training. I would love for you to make appointments right here and now. That's what I would love to see. That would be freaking awesome if some of you are able to make appointments whilst on this training, right? So I believe that speed is the driver of everything. The faster you take the action, the faster you get feedback, right? Now, some of you might send messages and get no appointments, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You gave it a shot, right? But if you don't give this a shot, you don't win anything. You don't get any feedback. You don't get any appointments. You don't do anything. So I'm hoping that as we go through the time that we have here today, that some of you, or as many of you as possible, will actually make an appointment before the end of this presentation. That would be cool, right? That's money, right? That's money. So are you with me? Just give me a 1 if you're going to participate. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sure. John's like, sure, I'm with you. Okay. We've got a few 1-1-1s. So let's rock and roll into the presentation. Okay. So just give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides. Yes, thank you, appreciate it. All right, just want to make sure that works. And we're going to hit play. All right, so today, all about the appointments. Laurie, who's in our Facebook group here, something shifted in her after the first session with me, realized how important what I do is for business and how essential it is to let everybody know what I do. That was a bit of a shift for her, letting people know that you're in business. One of the things you should be doing every day is letting people know that you're in business, right? Tony Sova has been trying to build an agency for 12 years with multiple different approaches. Right? Following the advice, he made 3 phone calls immediately and booked a discovery call yesterday. Tony, thank you for sharing. Laurie, thank you for sharing. Congratulations to you. I got these 2 messages in the morning. You'll see this is at 1:42 a.m. in the morning. I didn't open that message, but Crystal Benson, one of the people that I coach, just pitched a client for $15,000 for a 2,000 lead plus GHL 15K setup fee. Use my line. You're in 1 or 2 places. You want to try and compete. You either in or you want to compete against my system. That was a very ballsy statement. He's clearing it with his business partner tonight. Already gave me the green light on the call. Follow-up booked in tomorrow. Sort out invoice and 12-month contract. And also just signed up a client in 20 minutes at a 5K per month for 500 lead, invoice paid on the call, like I said. She's amazing, right? She literally she does exactly what I tell her to do, is she just goes and implements it and she closes deals. This is a single mum with a special needs child who has a very big reason to succeed in her business. And in 2 months, she's gone from 0 to about 50K recurring in revenue. I reckon by the end of next month, so by the end of, say, November, Crystal will be running a $1 million run rate. And she'll be doing that in less than 4 months. So if Crystal can do this and sell Go High Level at high prices and generate lead opportunities for clients, anybody can do this. She only started this less than 2 months ago. Less than 2 months ago. Reen only started with me 3 days ago, 4 days ago. landed her first foot in the door deal. I created a foot in the door offer for her. I said, just go and share this with as many people as possible. She closed a cash deal for 4,400. She's got 2 more people that she's going to close to hit her target that she set for herself to close 3 deals in 1 week. And she will do it before the end of this week, right? So congratulations, Reen. Just shows you that with a little focus, with the understanding of the value that you deliver, that people will spend the money that you're asking them to spend. So let's talk about setting appointments. Number 1, things you want to know, all right? The mindset. There is a self-limiting belief that we are bothering people or interrupting people, or we're being invasive by asking them to generate an appointment. Let me tell you, you are interrupting people. You are being invasive. You are being disruptive. It's the only way you're going to get an appointment, right? Is to actually engage the market. So it's not about interrupting. The belief that you have to have for yourself is you want to understand who the people are that will benefit the most from you, right? That's number 1. If you understand who they benefit from, then what you want to do is, knowing who they are, you want to understand the type of business they're in, right? How they do business. How are they messing up along the way? If they're doing lead generation and sending it to homepages and not really collecting leads or capturing data or even following up, these are things that you understand, and you want to understand their processes, right? What's their footprint online? How do they look? Right now, 80% of, it's 80%. 80% of all search right now is voice related. Voice search on a mobile phone, right? Not typing it in, saying, hey, Alexa, Siri, tell me, right? This thing, yeah? Understand that you have an opportunity to engage where the market's at, right? And you want to understand where they're sitting in the digital footprint of how they sit online, because also the more visible they are, the more opportunity they create. But here's the thing, the more visible you are to your market, the more opportunity you create as well. That's the key. Right? So you want to humanize the process. You want to feed things back to them. You want to make observations and share the observations that you're noticing out there, so that there's relevance in what you're talking about to the marketplace. So the other thing is, what are the 3 or 4 things that what you do solves, right? The more clear you are about the transition or the transformation you make with clients, because that's what they're buying, the more you articulate that, the more people see that, the more likely they are to engage with you in the market. All right. So craft a relevant message to open up dialogue. Nobody's going to do anything if you don't reach out and say, hey, right? You've got to do this. And everything I'm going to share with you today is not related to advertising. If you want to make appointments really quick, here's what you do. You're going to get a lead ad, go and get a lead magnet, run lead ads, spend $20 a day. You'll probably get appointments every day, right? You'll get opportunities. Run those into a spreadsheet, have that spreadsheet zap to message you on the phone that you got a lead, and you just call the leads as they come in. And then before you know it, you're probably going to be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month in recurring revenue in the next 3 to 4 weeks or 3 to 6 weeks. And then you can start to scale, right? It is not hard to get appointments with advertising. You just got to have a decent converting offer, right? But most people are struggling to actually invest in any form of advertising. So because it's a real pain, or there's a scaredy, kind of a fear around that, the kind of fuck everything and run scenario on advertising, then I'm going to share stuff with you that doesn't cost you money, right? You don't have to spend any money. So courage, interesting word, right? And this is why this is really important, right? You understand there's a reason why you're doing this. You want to really connect with that reason. If you're playing the game of business, if you're playing at it, then that's not a really good reason. Why is what you're doing so important to you? What is the level of impact, if you get it right, that it will have on your life, right? Is it the level of impact like Crystal Benson, single mum looking after a child with special needs, that she's going out there fighting hard for that livelihood for that person that she loves in her life to create a life for themselves in the market? Is it that type of purpose or that type of strength? The more conviction you have about what you're doing, the more likely you are to go out there and engage with clients. You have to have a compelling reason to succeed in this business. There's a reason you want it. And what I find mostly, and I'm not directing this at you, But most people just don't want it badly enough. Because if you really wanted it, you would be fucking crushing it. If you really wanted it, you would be working to getting the outcomes you're wanting to generate, right? But most people are afraid of getting the things that they want in life, because whether they've got some misconception of some stupid price or some compromise that they have to make to have that. Are you going to make some compromise along the way? Absolutely. Are you going to make some choices that might be hard along the way? Absolutely you are. If you want something badly enough, you're going to make those decisions, right? There's a famous, I would highly encourage you to come and check out this YouTube video. There's a guy called Eric Thomas. They call him the hip hop preacher. And he tells a famous story. This YouTube video has been watched millions and millions of times. But he tells a famous story. His name is Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher. Just look it up on YouTube. You'll see the story. But I'm going to briefly go through it to give you a perspective, right? So one day there was a successful businessman, and somebody had seen him as a successful man and said, I want to be successful like you. I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to be successful just like you. And this person said, great, meet me at the beach tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? And the guy goes, beach, meet me. I say, yeah, okay. Because if you meet me at the beach, I'm gonna make you successful. 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So the guy rocks up the beach in a suit and wearing a briefcase, thinking that, you know, he's going to be successful, he's going to be sharp, and the businessman's waiting for him there on the beach. And then he says to the guy, I'd like you to come with me. And he walks him into the water. And the guy's got I've got clothes on, I've got a suit on. And he asks the question, do you want to be successful? Do you want to be successful in life? Right? To have all the things you desire, to be resourced, to have freedom and choice. Do you want that? And the person says, I want that. I'm going to do everything I can to get that. Great. Come with me. And he walks him into the water, into the ocean, and he's walking backwards, and he gets the person up to his chin in the water. All right. And just when he's at that point, the wealthy businessman literally grabs his head and shoves him underwater and holds him down there. And this person for a moment is sitting there, obviously underwater, going, what the hell's going on? And starts to realize that they're running out of breath. So what do? They fight and they struggle and they claw and they push and they punch and they literally break the surface of the water and breathe as much as they can to take in that air, and said, are you crazy? You tried to drown me, right? And the person says, here is the lesson, that you will only be the person you want to be if you want it bad enough as you want it to breathe right now. If you want to have the things you want to have in life and desire to have in life, then do the things that you know that you should be doing to reach those outcomes. Because if you don't, if they don't become important, if they are not resonating with you, then it's not going to happen. You can say everything you want, you can want for everything you want, it ain't going to happen, right? So here's the thing, here is the lesson. You want to evangelize what you're doing. There's a friend of mine, a guy called Guy Kawasaki. Don't know if you know who Guy Kawasaki is. He's a famous speaker, author of about 15 books. He used to be the Apple evangelist. His role, his title on his business card was the Apple evangelist. He worked on the Apple II back in the day with Steve Jobs, right? And he had a passion and a love for this product, right, that was called Apple. He loved everything they were doing. But he evangelized, right? You want to be an evangelist for what you're doing. You want to be excited about what you're doing. You want everybody to know what it is that you're working on. That is so cool. The more if you become evangelistic about what you do, people will listen. People will engage. Now, I know this sounds really weird, right? But understand, the more excited about what you do, other people want to know more. I'm going to share with you what happened today in this idea of evangelizing what you do to me. So you want to create the strength of this, and it comes out in your communication and your body language. So one of the things that I say to people, and actually what we might do is do this exercise. Let me just stop for just a moment. Let me just escape out of this. I'm going to do this exercise with you so I can see you. I know I'm about to ask you to do something. For those people who don't have a video on with me, that's okay. I'm hoping that you're going to follow me in this exercise. But what I would like you to do is, do you mind if you all stand up for me, please? All stand up for me. That's all right. I'm just going to see your chest, right? If you don't have any clothes on, please don't stand up, right? So I want you to all stand up for a moment, right? And I want you to just lift your shoulders and pull your arms back a little bit. Just lift your shoulders, pull your arms back a little bit. Just shake off your arms just so you're feeling a little bit loose. And what I want you to do is I want you to kind of just slightly stand on your toes, not all the way, but just so that you're off the ground a little bit off your heel, just a little bit, just off. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to look up at about 45 degrees, and I want you to have a smile on your face, go, right? Look up at 45 degrees. And now what I want you to do, whilst you're looking up, I want you to feel miserable. I want you to feel angst and anxious and anxiety, and I want you to feel dread as you're looking up at 45 degrees, smiling at the ceiling, right? Whilst you're doing this. Okay, I'd like you to take a seat. Just shake it off and take a seat. All right. Now, I just want to know, just type 1 in the chat if you were laughing when I asked you to feel miserable in that position. Just type 1 in the chat. Some people, yeah, you thought it was funny. It's like, I'm supposed to feel miserable, but this is ridiculous. I can't, right? So now I'm not going to ask you to do this exercise, but here's the thing. We all know how to feel miserable. How you do it is you hunch your shoulders over. You start breathing shallow. You start looking down, your neck is curled and hunched, and you start changing your voice position in the position that I am. And then you start to think, hey, this is not feeling that great, and I'm feeling miserable. But here you are, just a moment I demonstrated you in a body position, that you were standing in a place of strength. You were actually looking up. You don't look up when you're miserable, you look down. You're looking up, right? You've got a semi-smile on your face, and I'm asking you to do the exact opposite of your body language in that moment. And your body couldn't react. It couldn't respond because it was in a position of where you are inspired. It's pretty hard to feel shit when you're thinking, I'm lifting myself up. That is just the placement of your body. So when you talk to people, if I'm doing sales calls, I'm not sitting down doing sales calls. I actually stand up because I've got it's a dysfunctional disorder that I have. My brains are in my feet. So I've got to kind of walk around and talk to people while I'm doing my sales call, right? Because I'm thinking on my feet. Yeah. If you ever see me on stage, I can't stand still. I'll go from one side. I'm literally going to make you seasick watching me go from one side to the other on a stage, right? Because I've got more motion. I've got more presence when I'm opened up, right? So standing up is a really good place to be when you're having conversations with people, because what you're doing is you're opening this area of your body, pulling your shoulders back, and you're breathing. When I'm looking down with you, but I'm trying to animate my voice because I know I forgot to bring my stand to have this conversation with you. So I'm trying to change my position, open myself up so that I am being more audible, more animated in that process, right? So understand, by the sheer nature of how you stand, how you talk and communicate, there's going to be a difference in what you do. And it's a huge difference. Right? There's a fantastic talk on TED. It's a lady called Amy Cuddy. She talks about presence, and she talks about the fact that she felt fake in her life. She's a Harvard professor, socioeconomic professor, and she felt fake. She felt that she didn't belong. And one day a student came in her office and said, I don't think I belong here at Harvard. And she was a full scholarship student. She earned her place. She absolutely belonged in there, but she felt fake, right? In that moment. And in that moment, when that student told Amy that I feel like I'm faking it, right? She realized that she hadn't been faking it. She did it to become it. She did the things that she needed to do to become the person she is today. That student did the things that they needed to do to become the person that belonged at Harvard University with those accolades. Highly recommend you watch the talk. It's a really cool talk, TED Talk. Amy Cuddy, Professor, Harvard, very famous TED Talk, right? So understand, right? This positioning, this strength thing is really important when you're communicating and when you're talking, and if you are asking people for things. You want to be in a position of press. I'm going to mention one more person. There's a guy called Jai Jiang, Jaijiang, TED Talk, 15 minutes on being rejected. He did a whole talk. In fact, he wrote a whole book about being rejected. And he said, I want to go through 100 days of rejection, right? He wanted rejection. Let me tell you, if you're in business, you are going to be rejected a lot. And the more rejected you are, the more financially wealthy you will be. The more rejected you are, the person with the most rejections is the person who is the wealthiest in the room. Do you understand? There's a guy called Frank Alley. He's a car salesperson at the Chevrolet dealership in Las Vegas. He sells 5 cars a day, belly to belly, no fleet sales, 6 days a week. 5 cars a day, belly to belly, 6 days a week. He's one of the most successful car salespeople in the country. And here's what he says. If I don't get rejected at least 27 times a day, I ain't selling 5 cars. I need to be rejected 27 times every single day so that I could sell 5 cars. Right? So Jai did this really cool thing. He did 100 days of rejection. So he would ask people for ridiculous things. He went to a Dunkin' Donuts place and he said, hey, Dunkin' Donuts, can you make some donuts and arrange them in the Olympic rings and glaze them with the colors of the Olympic circle? And the person at the counter says, I don't know, let me ask my manager if we can do that. The person goes out, asks the manager, comes out, said, yeah, we can do the Olympic rings in the donuts with the glaze. Right? He asked the person, can I plant this tree for free in your front yard? They said, no. I don't want you to plant a tree in my front yard, but Mary across the road, she loves trees. Go and ask Mary, you can plant the tree over there, right? But the one thing that Jai learned about rejection was this one question that changed everything. The question was, why are you rejecting this request? That was the question. And most people say, well, I don't know who you are. Or some people say, well, I'm not sure why you're asking me the question. Right? Or I need to know a little bit more information. And so what did Jai do? He would give them more information. He would answer that why question for them. And ultimately, guess what happened? Less and less rejection. More people saying yes, right? He asked a random stranger for $5,000 and they said yes. Right? Without asking for why are you asking me for the $5,000 or what are you going to do with the $5,000? Just ask them. They said yes. I'll give it to you. Right? So understand, this is a big fear thing. The whole setting appointments, what am I going to say, who am I going to say? I'm going to give you all of that here as we go through that, right? But understand that if you own what you want, if you have that courage, right? If you evangelize what you do, you can do anything. You can do anything. And I've got some people that I work with that completely surprise themselves when they just understand what it is that they're sharing with people, right? So here we go. Let's get back to the slides. Enough rambling and ranting on from me. Let's go. All right. So evangelize, create the strength. What is your purpose? What is the cause? What is your mission? Why are you doing this? Right? People don't buy what you do; they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek, very, very wise words by a leader amongst leaders. Okay, so observe the market problems through the eyes of the market. If you see things that are missing or things that are odd, or you're seeing consistencies, then share it with the market. That's your door opener, right? You want to feed back that information. Hey, I'm noticing this going on right now. Are you experiencing the same sorts of things? Or, hey, I figured something out for this market, and this is how it works. Do you want to know, or do you want to see how that can work for you, right? So feed back that to your audience. What are some of the common themes? Are they experiencing the same? Hey, I'm noticing. So one of the strategies, in fact, I shared this with one of the people I'm working with earlier this morning. I said, look, you need to go and get 4 or 5 people who are in your market, who've got experience, who've had years of experience, and just reach out to them, just ask them, right, what their opinions are about what's going on in the market, business, clients, customers, trends. Just ask their opinion. And oftentimes there's going to be a common theme that comes from these conversations. Because they're in the same market, right? And so from there, this is how he's going to use the conversation to generate appointment opportunities. The first thing he's going to do is what's going to happen in that conversation is those people are going to ask him, what is it that you do? And he's going to say, this is what I do, right? This is how I help people. In fact, I'll show you how I can help you and demo it, right? Second thing is they might not buy what he has to offer, but because he's sharing, they might say, you know what, I know people that would benefit from this, and he'll generate referrals just by this one little idea, right? But here's the thing, when he's got this information from the source, he can literally quote the source. Hey, I talked to 4 or 5 people in the marketplace, and here's what they said. I spoke to Joe at ABC Company. I spoke to Mary at CBS Company, and here's what they said. And what this does, it makes you feel like you have an affinity with the market. Whoever you're sending a message to, it becomes incredibly relevant because they identify with those people in the market, right? So if you follow common themes, it's a really easy way to open up conversations. in the market. Here's how we're helping other people just like you. By the way, here's a post or something that we shared that's all about that idea. This might be insightful for you. Let's connect, right? There's an opening door. The 2 offers that I shared with all those people, I'm going to share the offers with you right now, right? If you've got a great result with an offer, if you've got a great result right now with an offer, what I'd like you to do is think about how you got that result for a client. So for example, there's a guy called Frank that I coach, and he had an amazing result with a removal company. He uses gohighlevel to manage leads for a removal company, right? And so, removing movalists, right? People who move people around. His system generated about $1 million worth of sales within 6 months. Appointments, conversions, sales, it was amazing, right? And he worked really hard with this particular business. And so he sat there and I asked him, Frank, do you know how you got that result? He says, yeah, well, we worked at it. We tested it. We run the offers. We set up the automations. We, talked to the salespeople to make sure they were converting, following up, doing all those sorts of things. So now you know how that works. Could you replicate this idea, Frank? Yes, absolutely. Do you know what the workflow is? Yes. So this is what I asked Frank to do. I said, I'd like you to get 20 or 30 companies, moving companies, just like this company, and just send this message out and say, hey, for the last 6 months, we've completely automated, have a methodology that's generated $100,000 worth of extra sales for this removal company. What we've done is we've documented the process. We've got the methodology. What we want to do is I'd like to share that methodology with you for a couple of reasons. One, I'd be really interested to know if you'd like to get the same result for your company, or more important, what I'm really interested in is I want to beat that result with you. Are you interested? Right? We've got this great result. We've mapped it out. We've got the method. I want to share the method we've done, but what I really want to do is I don't want to get the same result. I want to beat this result. Are you open to beating this result? Would you like to see the method? Simple message. So if you've got a success story or a transition story where somebody's achieved a result, use that and say, hey, we've been working with this company for a week or 2, a month or 2 months, and we've got this amazing result for them, right? We've mapped it out. What I'd love to do is show you the map of how we got the result. But what I really want to do is I want to beat that result with you. Are you open to seeing the framework? If you can do that, that is your message to text out now. Hey, got this awesome result. Worked out a framework. What we really want to do is I want to share the framework with you, but more importantly, I want to get a better result with you. Are you open to that? Just give me a yes or no, right? For those of you who've got a result that you can share, go and share the result. Send that message out whilst we're talking here, right? Now, for those of you who don't have a result, I'm going to have a message for you in just a second, right, to send out. But that's a message that I would get out to the market, right? So as we go, I haven't heard anything back. Oftentimes we sit and say, well, I send messages out and nobody responds to me, okay? So one of my favorite messages to send out to people that I don't hear anything back is I say, hang on.
Someone got a red mark that got their highlighted all on your screen.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
I got it. I don't know who that was. It was a drawing on my screen. I love drawings. Let me just relaunch that. And we've got everybody here, which is cool. And I just want to make sure I mute everybody. All right. So let me try that again. All right. So I haven't heard anything back. This is one of my favorite follow-up lines. Hey, haven't heard back from you, right? Haven't heard back from you. And then when oftentimes this message is more viewed than the original message, because people think, oh, what did I miss, right? So when I put the I haven't heard back, I make the same request again, right? Here's how you solve the problem. Hey, I haven't heard back from you, but here's that problem that I was talking about you can solve, right? Here's an insight that we've come up with, right? Follow up for an appointment. Here, this is my follow up for an appointment with you. You can actually say what you want to do. Hey, I'm just following up for an appointment with you, right? So you can use this as a kicker to get people back into the conversation, right? So let's just get an appointment. I'd like to get a meeting with you to talk about this problem. Be direct. Say, hey, I'm talking to people about this problem right now. I'd love to get a meeting to talk about this, right? This is my favorite subject line. Message, because this works really well with big companies. If you want to go and work with companies that are 20 million, 50 million, $100 million, use this line, executive level meeting request. That's the subject line for this problem, whatever problem you're solving. Executive level meeting request for a sucky website that you have, right? Or executive level meeting request for bad ad campaign that you're running, right? So whatever the problem is, information in the body and how you solve the problem, what your recommendation would be. And what I would recommend with this particular message is send it to everybody that is an executive if you've got their names. So I would send it to the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the CIO, the CMO, all the Cs, right? And if everybody sees this message, I'll guarantee you somebody's going to direct somebody at the C level to contact you to find out what this is about. It is one of the easiest ways to get an appointment with large decision makers, large company decision makers. That's why I've highlighted in red. It works really, really well. Executive level meeting request. And then the executives are going to go, oh, this is me that you're requesting this meeting for. And what is this meeting about? A particular problem you solve, right? So we're trying to learn if there's a mutually beneficial reason we should continue a dialogue. Hey, we're just kind of reaching out. We're trying to learn if there's a mutually beneficial reason for us to continue conversing or chatting, right? It never hurts to look and make improvements. Hey, I know oftentimes the people that are the most successful are the ones that are open to new ideas. It never hurts to look and make some improvements. These are messages that have worked to generate appointments, right? When you hear crickets, hey, if they don't respond, how would you like to continue? Just send a message. How would you like to continue? They go, continue what? Right? I don't remember. Can you remind me? Right? Place them on a drip campaign. If you get crickets from people, what I tend to do is I tend to send them our case studies. So every time, if we don't get messages back or something, we get ghosted, we just send them a drip of all the case studies of all the successes of what we're having, right? Hey, we've got a client that just closed 7 deals off our lead generation system. Hey, we've got a client that just did 14 deals off our lead generation system. Hey, remember that lead generation system we spoke to you about? There's another client here that's got 7 deals closed because of that lead generation system, right? If you want to know more, you can always just reply yes or give the best possible number I can contact you on now, right? So you can place them on a drip. If the other thing is you can create what I love is a future state of what it would look like if they used your idea, right? You put them in, if you created a future state for them, say, hey, most companies exactly like you want to think about your company, your average sales sitting at this level, your number of, you're trying to bring in more clients. I would imagine you're attempting a 30 to 40% bump on revenue over and above what you've done last year. As a progressive company, I would imagine that's a really optimistic focus for your business. What I'd love to do is show you how to get there. What if we could actually put you in a position where you're getting those sales over and above what you're getting right now with the current efforts? What if we could use your current resources, the current leads, the past leads, and open the door to more opportunities to generate revenue, right? So you create a future state of what it might look like if they used your system. It's another way to articulate a message to get appointments, right? So I'm interested in your opinion and experience in your business industry. One of the easiest ways to get into a conversation is say, hey, I know you've been in this game for 15 years. I'm talking to people just like you to get an understanding or an insight into your opinions about what's going on in the marketplace. Can we have a quick conversation, right? Send that out to 20 people in the marketplace. I'll guarantee you're going to get appointments, right? Sometimes let's talk for thought leadership and engagement. Maybe we can learn something from each other, even if we don't do business with each other. One of the things that I say to people I work with is sometimes you need to put your offer aside and focus on just listening to businesses and how they do what they do or what they do. And oftentimes those conversations very easily turn into, so what is it that you do, right? And then you can say, well, we help people by automating this and this and this, right? Or we generate automated reviews or automated referrals, or we have the ability to actually respond in real time to get speed to lead to generate sales. And they go, that sounds really interesting. Well, I'm more than happy to model that for you or demonstrate that for you to see what it looks like for your business. What if we place your numbers over our system and show you what some of the differences these things can make, right? And oftentimes we go, that sounds really interesting, and it opens up to a client. But here's the thing, when people start to understand what it is you do, they're sitting there going, they're thinking that, oh, this is cool, this is something for me. Or they might be going, not for me, but I can think that there's other people who would get benefit out of this that I know, right? So if you've taken the time to listen to them, right, be a friend rather than to have a friend, right, to be a friend, oftentimes they will look to help you. Now, here's the one thing that I would recommend. If anybody has given you time about them sharing their story, their business, their ideas, or where they're at, What I'd like you to do is acknowledge them for that time. What I mean is send them a thank you. At least send them a thank you card. Generally, what I do is hop on Amazon and send them a book. I might, in that conversation somewhere, I might have learned something about them or seen something on their social media profile, and I'll send them a book and say, hey, I really appreciate your time. It is valuable. It was very insightful for me. I just wanted to thank you. Now, here's what that little thank you does. You'll be able to call that person again and they'll pick up the phone. No problem at all. The second thing is nobody thanks anybody for anything, especially for their time. But if you acknowledge people for their time and the value they've delivered to you, they will listen. And oftentimes when you do that, you'll get a bucket load of referrals. There's a person that I have as a friend, a guy called Alan McGurvin. He's been a friend for years in my life. A big business guy, has several companies. He's basically referred millions of dollars worth of business to me. We've never done business together. He's never spent a dime with me over those years. But because I've valued the conversations or the time that he has given in ways that has been sincere, he has literally opened up channels of clients to our business, right? He's become a great friend over the years, a great referrer to our business. And we don't pay him for referrals or anything like that. I've never done that. It's not that type of relationship. But the one thing that he always remembers, and this is what I did for him, is I know he had two daughters. They were twins, right? So they were 6 years old, little girls. And what I did was I walked past a store and I saw these huge polar bear. Like the polar bear was like 6 feet tall, right? And so it wasn't very expensive. So I bought two of them, one for each daughter. And the message I said, Alan, you've been very gracious with your time, and I know you're a very successful person, but what do you do when you know what kind of gift you give somebody who has everything? And I thought it'd be really nice to give your daughters a couple of polar bears. Now, these things are 6 foot tall. They're huge, right? So they rock up to the door, they're delivered, and he took a photo of them. And every time he walks past the bedroom of his daughters, he could see these freaking polar bears in the thing. Like they literally jump on it and do all that sort of crazy stuff. But it is a reminder, right? It was just a thing to say, hey, I just want to say thank you. It was a bit weird, a bit odd, but anytime he sees me, he says polar bears, those freaking polar bears, right? To this day, yeah. So understand, you don't have to be that crazy, but if you're going to ask people and get into that conversation, it will open up to a lot of referral, a lot of appointment opportunities, but make sure that you acknowledge people sincerely, even if it's just a card, just to say thank you, or even a postcard, just to say thank you for their time. You will be able to get on that person's radar again, or you may have a client sitting there waiting for you if you do that. So messages, the types of messages that generate appointments. You can email or text this offer. I'm running a cool thing this month, and I'm looking for people like you that want to achieve this outcome guaranteed in the next 90 days. If you're interested, just send me a quick text back with hashtag 90 days, let's chat, right? Take a screenshot of this if you want to use this. Simple message, you just fill in the blanks. This thing works, right? 9-word email. Now, a friend of mine, Dean Jackson, don't know if anybody knows who's Dean Jackson. He's on the I Love Marketing podcast with Joe Polish. He's probably one of the most highly regarded marketers on the planet. He coined the phrase a 9-word email. And this 9-word email, or these types of messages, get responses, right? So, hey, Bob, are you still looking for more leads for your business, or have your priorities changed? Hey, Bob, are you looking to redo your website or your landing pages, or have your priorities changed? Hey, Bob, are you looking for that automated client engagement system, or are you looking for an activation system, or have your priorities changed, right? Are you looking for this? Are you still interested? Are you interested is the question, right? That you're asking. Are you interested in 100 market qualified leads to make sales offers this month? If you're using White Label Suite, that's a great offer. Hey, are you interested in 100 market qualified leads to make sales offers to this month? Just give me a yes or no, right? When they respond, you can walk them into an appointment, right? Mission posts. Hey, my mission is to help you, the business, get a result guaranteed in the next certain amount of days. Who's with me? If you are in social media groups, and you can actually call out a challenge like this and say, hey, my mission is to help you plumbers generate an extra 4 estimates a week over the next 90 days guaranteed. Who's in with me? And there'll be a whole bunch of plumbers that are in a plumber market saying, I'm interested, or I'm open to it, right? This works, okay? Focus. We all had a sales plan yesterday. What I'm going to encourage you to do is now do an appointment plan, right? I would like you to allocate 1 hour in your calendar today of when you're going to be sending out messages and making appointments. So if you can just do that right now, open up your calendar, select a time either today or tomorrow, depending on what part of the world you're in, right? Put a time in there, and in that hour, you're going to send out messages like the ones that I've just shared and some of the ideas I've shared, and inviting people to have a conversation with you. One of the easiest messages, especially if you're looking at the familiar list, is to say, hey, this is what I'm working on right now. I've got a process. I'm really interested in just getting your feedback or your ideas on what you think about this idea. Can we talk? That's a really simple message. So if you've got no case studies or you've got any ideas starting out, that's the message I'll send. Hey, I've got this really cool thing. It does this thing. Gets a great result. What I'm looking to do is I'd love to get your questions on it. Are you open to at least having a look at it? Just give me a yes or no. That's your message, right? Looking for the kind of person, have an appointment plan, right? You want to text out, are you interested, right? The mission offer. So you want to be committed to making 2 appointments per day. That's the goal. Between now and next Friday, next week, your goal is to make 2 appointments per day. If you've booked a time in your calendar today and tomorrow and the next day to go and make an appointment, right? To open the door to appointments, your goal is to generate 2 appointments. I'm going to show you how to do this really easily, right? So you want to get into appointment setting mode, and you've got to look at a routine, right? You want to set yourself up. If you're going to show up for appointment setting time, you want to be strong about, hey, I'm going to help some people out today. I'm going to ask some questions, going to open the door, right? So what you want to do is you want to do slam dunk appointments. The first people we want to start is with a familiar list. Hey, I've got this idea. I need some feedback. I'd love to get your opinion on what you think about this idea. I'm open to the questions. I want to know what questions you've got, right? You can go into Facebook and say, hey, I've got this thing. Anybody interested in having a look at this thing? You'll see messages like this all the time and people responding to these messages. Maybe you've responded to these types of messages as well. They do work. They do work, right? Start a messenger conversation with people. Hey, look, we haven't spoken or we haven't reached out, but I'm doing this cool thing right now. And I don't know, it might be something worthwhile having a look at, but it'd be really cool if we could just connect, right? Straight out messenger, right? Look at all your follow-ups. Anybody you've sent information to, anybody you've tried to attempt a conversation, even had a conversation with, look to those people first. You want to have a slam dunk appointment every time you want to go to appointments, right? You always start with a slam dunk, right? Because once you get one, you go, great, I'm going to go get another one, right? That's the goal, okay? So you want to pick one thing and you want to create an offer for it. You have several things in Go High Level that you can create an offer on. Several things. Pick one thing and create an offer for it. Not several, one, right? So it might be a reactivation campaign. It might be the Google review campaign. It might be the automated text back campaign. It might be, pick one thing, right? Ask people, are you interested in this thing? Would you like to see something like this work? Just let me know. Keep it really simple, very direct, right? The more simple and direct you are, the easier it is to get through to people. If you start getting too long in your message, people won't read it, right? The more specific, the more personal you are, the faster the response, okay? So message strategy, subject, quick question. Are you interested in, or are you still interested in doing, if it's somebody you've spoken to in the past, getting appointments from Facebook or Google ads, or stop attracting tire kickers and converting qualified prospects? Or would you like to get appointments? Would you like to get sales from leads that you've already burned? That's a great way to open up the sales conversation. How would you like to actually get some leads or sales from leads that you feel have burnt, right? I'd love to reactivate the tire kickers and turn them into buyers. Can I get all your crappy leads and turn them into buyers? Are you interested in that? I'll guarantee you there'll be some people that will respond to that message. I'd love to take all your crappy leads and turn them into sales. Can we talk? Right? Pretty simple question, right? So you want to automate follow-up. Imagine if we could automate the follow-up. Imagine you set automatic appointments. Just ask a simple question, right? So what you focus on most becomes your reality. If you focus on not making appointments, guess what? You're not going to make appointments. If you focus on making appointments, you're going to make appointments, right? Put this up as a sign on your wall or in your office. Is what I'm doing now helping me make an appointment or a pitch for a sale today? If you can see what's up on my whiteboard, I actually wrote this phrase on the whiteboard, right? The answer to the question is, if you say no, stop what you're doing immediately and go and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing above. I want you all to put this sign up somewhere in front of you, right? Just type 1 in the chat or 2 in the chat if you're going to do this. Today, get a sign, a piece of paper, write in, is what I'm doing right now helping me make an appointment or a pitch for a sale today? Put it up on in front of you so you see it every time you walk in your office. And if you read that and your answer is no, you know what to do. There is no reason why you shouldn't have a full calendar, right? So I'm going to share something cool with you today. So I did this today. You'll see these guys on the left-hand side. These are some of the people I coach. So I've got Ed, Dave, and Dwayne, who joined me today at the B2B Expo at the LA Convention Center. And also at the LA Convention Center, there was the Build Expo of Los Angeles, Build Expo, over there again. Now, the B2B Marketing Expo was free, but the Los Angeles Build Expo, you had to be in the industry. And so I negotiated my way into the Build Expo, right? I went to both of these, spent a little bit of time, but I sent the people that I was coaching into the B2B Marketing Expo, and then I went into the Building Expo because we didn't want to trip over each other, generating appointments. Right? So you'll notice that there's this board in the middle, this sign in the middle, and you'll see a list of all the businesses there. These are all the list of the exhibitors at the Los Angeles Build Expo. And these companies on average are spending $20,000 to be there for 2 days from 10 a.m. in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So think $10,000 a day to be there from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 grand, 2 grand an hour. To be there to open yourself to sales opportunities. So here's what happened. Went to the expo. I spoke to 18 CEOs. There's all the business cards of all the CEOs that I spoke to, right? I booked 5 appointments at the trade show. 7 of them desperately want to talk to me next week. Now, I've arranged these appointments for my team, not for myself. I'm not going to be calling these people. I've just explained what I did, what we do, and they said, we want to do this, right? The average cost per booth was 20 grand for 2 days, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I literally walked in and I made these connections. I was only in there for about an hour and 45 minutes. I made 5 appointments and 7 more people wanted to talk to me in an hour and 45 minutes. I didn't go in there and pitch anything. I didn't sell anything to these people, right? All I did was just talk to them, ask questions. I said, how are you going? What are you expecting out of the show? How are you feeling about being here? What's it costing you being here? I spent about 20 grand on the booth. What sort of objective have you set for this? Tell me what you're selling today. Tell me the cool thing about your product. And they start talking about their stuff and what's cool and blah, blah. And then they say, so what is it that you do? I said, well, we're essentially a no-code AI company that basically converts leads. That we generate, automated follow-up and processes like you're at a trade show here. Imagine if everybody could walk off this booth and 10 seconds later, they got an email from you saying, hey, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate you hanging out at the booth. I know that you're going to talk to a lot of people at this trade show. We've got a special on today. If you are receiving this email, I'm going to make sure that we follow up for the next 2 weeks. You'll be able to take advantage of the offer we have at the trade show. And they're sitting there going, oh my God, can I steal that from you? Well, yes, you can. I'll even show you how we can set the whole process up so you can engage them faster, right? That's all I said. I listened to them, and then they said, so what do you do? I said, well, you're here making money. You're trying to make money. But I guarantee you that most people you're trying to connect with here, too busy. It's hard to follow up. What if you could follow them up instantly? What if you had something in their hands instantly? Would that be cool? That would be amazing, right? So this is how I got 5 appointments booked in the calendar and 7 people saying, we definitely need to talk about this automated sales process. So the average sale for these people, some of these companies, the average sale for them is like $20 or $30 or $40,000 for a sale, $100,000 for some of their products. So big ticket items. So it's not going to take too many sales to convert to pay for the 5 or 10 grand or $25,000 a month that we will charge them for it, right? So understand that it's really easy to generate appointments if you take an interest in what people have. Remember, my purpose was not to sell these people. My purpose was to engage, to connect, to learn. And then maybe I could help them. Maybe I could help them. But I certainly wasn't going to be selling anything to them at the trade show because that's not what they were there for. They were there to sell themselves, right? I was there to help them sell more of themselves. That's what I did. So the people I was coaching, they all made appointments. I spoke to them after and they all made appointments out of the trade show today. All right. There's this huge expo. I'm just going to stop there for a moment and escape because I know there's a whole bunch of questions. Yeah, let me just escape this and let me just stop this for a second. I'm just going to show you a website, right? So you can go to this website anytime. I'm just going to put it up on the screen here so you can see it. And I'm also going to show you an event that's going on right now, tomorrow actually, but there are a few events coming up that all of you should be interested. So let me just share with you this particular website. So let me just get back to so I've got the right thing. Okay. So can all of you see this website called 10times.com, right? So 10times.com is a registry of events all over the country. You can just type in the city. I can say Los Angeles. And it'll give me all the events in Los Angeles. Look at all these events coming up, right? When I click into these events, right, it'll tell me who the organizers are. It'll tell me who exhibitors are. It'll tell me what the event's all about. So there's all these events. Now, all over the country, in fact, all over the world. There are in the law, in the niche, there are 4,363 events. There are 5,000 job fairs. Imagine all the recruitment firms you could do business with, right? There are the consumer fairs. There's 3,479 consumer fairs. Railways and roadways, drugs and medicines, worldwide web events. What's that? Pedagogy, I don't know what that is. Investment events, right? I can view some more. But there are literally thousands and thousands of events. And these are all niches. These are all niches, right? So imagine your whole entire niche in one place, all sitting there working together. I've been going to events, speaking at a lot of events and attending trade shows. CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which is one of the largest trade shows in the world. For our business, we generate on average every visit about $1 million worth of revenue for one visit. It's 4 days, and we sell into a particular niche into that marketplace, right? Today, this event, this builders event, we'll probably pick up about 200 grand out of that today. That's what I'm believing that I will close out of those deals. So 10 times is a really simple place where you can go city, events, trade shows, seminars, conferences, all those things. The 2 trade shows I went to today, these 2 trade shows with the badges, right? They're the badges. The 2 trade shows I went today were free. They literally said, hey, come on in and help yourself, right? Which is fantastic. Now, some events are paid events. And there's sneaky ways, and I tend to teach the people I work with sneaky ways where they can get free tickets, multiple $1,000 tickets for free to attend events, right? But I'm not going to share that strategy with you. There's lots of free events you can go to here. Now, there is another, I'm just going to stop sharing and open this other thing up that I've got for you. I found this, and only because one of my clients alluded me to this, but there is an event called the Small Business Expo. Now, small business meaning businesses at the low end, $1 million, at the high end, $20 to $50 million, right? A very broad spectrum, okay? So here's a place, and right now, if you're in Las Vegas, this is free to attend, so let me just share this with you. If you're in Vegas right now, there's this event here, it's called Small Business Expo. Right now, in Las Vegas, 21st of September, tomorrow at the Plaza Hotel Casino Sierra Ballroom, right? The cool thing about this event is they force you to network. They literally sit you in front of people to meet people and network and talk about what you do. So they do this kind of speed dating version of business networking. And they do this with thousands of people. It's really fun, right? Great way. So if you're in Las Vegas, tomorrow, if you go to the Plaza Hotel, you can go and register for free and go to Small Business Expo and get a whole bunch of appointments with people, having conversation with business people, opening the door. The event is also coming up in Atlanta on the 13th of December, 24th of October in Houston. I might even pop over to the Houston one. Phoenix, the 27th of September, a little bit later next week. So this is held every year. It's a pretty cool event. It's called the Small Business Expo. You want to talk to real business owners, this is a place that you want to go to. So there's plenty of places in the world that you can actually generate opportunities with to get out into the marketplace. So getting back to my slides. Hit play. Okay, so essentially, we're at the end here. Takeaways and questions. Wow. Just a little over an hour. We've got some time. I've got some time to help you out, which is cool. So what I'd like to do, just very quickly, is any takeaways and questions that you've got. So we've got here, mail. Frank says, super simple for sending. Thank you. Direct mail offer. Okay, so it's Mail Joy. Hey, I'm a business owner and have an offer where we can send a full color, double-sided direct mail. Interesting. What time is it? What time's the best time to send? What time's the best time to send a message? Nick, whenever the fuck you want. 24 hours a day. Nick, there is no pulling back. There's no rules on when you should send a message to anybody. In fact, I want to give you a cool time to send a message. Go and send a message to somebody at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. Fire off an email. If you're going to fire off an offer, go and fire off an offer at 4 a.m. in the morning. So it hits people's inboxes at 4 a.m. in the morning, right? So just send it. Send the fucking message. Don't not send a fucking message. Just send it, right? That's the deal. There's no timing. People say, what's the best time to call somebody? Pick up the phone, right? Pick up the phone and call somebody. There's no best time, right? If you want people to call back, does anyone want the sneaky voice message you should leave if you want people to call you back? Just type 2 if you'd like to give you. The reason I'm asking you this question, this obvious answered question, is because I want you to listen in, right? Here's the thing. If you send this message, if you leave this message, it is highly likely the person will call you back if you've called it. So you don't want them to pick up the phone. You want to leave the message. You want them to call you, right? So here's what you do. When you get on voicemail, all you say is, hey, Larry, it's John. Can you call me back on 555-123-456 and hang up? Hey, Larry, it's John. Can you call me back on da-da-da-da-da? Thanks, and hang up. What do you think Larry's going to do? Who the fuck's John? I got to call this guy back, right? Don't tell him why you called. Don't tell him what you're doing. Just say, hey, Bob, it's John. Can you give me a call back on this number? Thanks for doing that, and hang up. And I'll guarantee you the majority of people will call you back, right? The reason I know this is because I leave messages like that all the time. And guess what? I get phone calls from people, from absolute strangers that I wanted to connect with. And they go, hey, call this number. Who are you? I'm glad you called, right? Look, you don't know me from Adam. If you can give me 60 seconds, you can let me know whether or not we should continue the conversation. Is that fair enough? If you make that statement to everybody, hey, you don't know me from Adam, but if you can give me 60 seconds, you can decide whether or not we should continue the conversation. Fair enough? And they're going to go, sure. Now you can tell them why you called, right? It's really, really simple, yeah? So we make this whole process harder than it needs to be. What I'd love to know is, did anybody send any messages out while we were in this training? Anybody make an offer out there? Just say yes, right? Or type in yes. We have a feature that does that automatically in JHL. Yes, you do, Tom. Tom's been sending out messages. Anybody else? Nathan's been sending out messages. Awesome. Anybody got a response yet from the messages? Just type yes. NASA sent some messages out. Awesome, right? Be interesting to see if you got any feedback in the time we have. So what I want to do is ask you questions. The easiest offer to an appointment is the reason for the appointment. I've got a cool idea and it does this. Are you open to seeing it? Are you interested in seeing this type of outcome result? If you don't hear back from the person, hey, I didn't hear back from you. I was talking about this thing. Are you interested? Just give me a yes or no. My best favorite call to action in appointment setting, if you're sending out messages, is please reply with the best phone number to call you on. Please reply with the best phone number to call you on, right? Don't reply yes or no. Please reply with the best phone number to call you on. It's the easiest thing because people will go, oh, okay, call me on this number. You'll be amazed at how many people respond with their phone number, right, in terms of what they're doing, yeah? So here's the thing. There are bucket loads of ways to generate appointments. You've just got to kind of ask people. If you're talking to people and letting people know what you do, you're going to generate appointments. If you are focusing on Nathan just got an appointment. Response, got an appointment on Friday to pitch a DVR. Nathan, congratulations, dude. That happened live. Well done, right? Awesome, right? So understand that it can happen that quickly with the intent. And then what do you do? So, and then what do you show them being brand new? Catherine, you show them what you saw that you liked. That's what you show them. The thing that you liked about what you like to do or what you're offering, that's what you show them. Hey, I've got this cool thing that does this cool stuff, right? If you're interested, can I just walk you through it? Here's why I think this is cool. That's what you want to do, Catherine. You're excited about what you sell. They're going to be excited too if they see it. That's how you do it. It's really simple, right? If you're asking this question, Catherine, you know the answer to this question. Hey, this is what I've been working on. I don't know if this is for you, but it might be worthwhile having a look. What do you think? Have you got a minute? And some people go, yeah, I got a minute, right? The thing that we've got to stop, one of the things that we've got to be mindful of is this whole thing of people like, we're interrupting people, or they're going to say no to us, right? Nobody's getting a knife and doing this when they say no to you. This isn't happening, right? There is no pain, right? It's okay. One of my mentors who wrote a famous book on sales, it's called How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. He was my personal coach for a number of years. And he always used to say this phrase when somebody said no. He would just say, hey, thanks for the 100 at the end of the call. Hey, thanks for the 100. Appreciate it. And people go, what? What 100? I didn't give you $100. I said, no. I just want to say thank you for the 100 because this is what this phone call was worth to me, $100. He says, for every 10 phone calls, once I get to the 10th person, I get $1,000. So thanks for the 100. So he used to thank people for rejecting him, right? I want to get to that $1,000 as quickly as possible. Get off the fucking phone so I can get to the next person, right? That was his game, right? Thanks for the 100. Thanks for the 100. Thanks for the 100, right? When people used to ask Tom how he was, like how things were going, his response was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, it could be unbelievably bad or unbelievably good, but he would just say, it's unbelievable what's going on right now, right? It's just a phraseology or a framework of thinking. That's what this is. And the more optimistic you are about it, the more people are going to jump into appointments with you. I got a guy, Adam Borg, who I've been working with for about 6 months, and he works in the real estate market, right? And he's really, really good at helping real estate agents get listings. Like, he's a legend at getting listings for the real estate agents. And I said, dude, you know how to get listings, yeah? And what do real estate agents want? They want listings, yeah? So let's go and make some appointments, right? And this is the script. Hey, Bob, you're at Cornwall Banker Realty, right? Yep. Listen, we specialize in listings. Are you interested in listings? The guy goes, yeah, I'm interested in listings. Can we have a talk about listings? Are you cool with that? You open to that idea? Yeah, we can talk about some listings. Awesome. I've got 9 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Which suits you best? 1 o'clock? I'm just going to send you that link right now. Can you accept my appointment? Awesome. Now I'm going to be there. You're going to be there? I'm going to be there. Great. Bye. That's how we'd make 7 to 12 appointments a day in a couple of hours. What do they want? They want listings. Hey, I'm a listings guy. Do listings all day long. Do you want to talk listings with me? Yes or no? Yeah, sure. Great. You got 15, 20 minutes today? I'm looking at my calendar right now. I'm pretty busy. I got a 9 or a 2. Which one suits you best? 2? Great. I can't do it today. Look, I can do an 8:30 tomorrow. You got an 8:30 tomorrow? Yeah, we can do it 8:30 tomorrow. Great. And he books it on the spot. I'm going to book it in right now. What's your email there? Great. Can you see your email? Is it there? Great. Can you click on it? Awesome. We're locked in. I'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Right? None of this, I'm going to send you a link and let's book I'll wait for you to book the appointment. No. Let's book the appointment. We're there. Why are we wasting time sending links to anybody? That's insanity. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of finger power, right? Don't need to do it. Just book the appointment on the spot. You're asking for it. And people will go, okay, let's do it, right? It's not very difficult at all when you're in that position. The other thing that I would highly encourage you to do is the same thing with people have got to get to know you, right? So I had a person, Debbie, who used to work with us, and she was our SDR, and she had like, she was a brick wall. Like, she didn't care what anybody said. She didn't care. Like, people would tell her, be nasty to her every now and again because she was persistent, but she just didn't care, right? But the way she used to make appointments was crazy. She would make fun of them. She'd say, are you kidding? You're saying no to this idea? Why would you do that? What's the matter with you? Are you sick today? Like, she would say shit like that to people. And then they would laugh at her, right? They couldn't believe what they were hearing. And lo and behold, they'd make an appointment. But she'll say, hey, I know I was a bit hard on you making an appointment, but hey, we're serious here. You're actually going to be talking to a sales guy who's going to try and sell you something. Are you cool with that? She would be totally honest with them, right? And they go, yeah, okay, look, I'm interested in what you guys have got. And she'd book the appointment, right? That's how she would get appointments, is because just to change and shift up the energy in the appointments. Have fun with it, right? Don't make this a hard thing to do. The best way to do it is get a VA to make appointments for you. It's very simple. Do a few messages out to people, and when somebody starts getting the conversation, get that, then have that VA give you that connection to start to continue that conversation. It's the fastest way that you're going to get into a whole bunch of appointments. The thing here that I wanted to get over to you in terms of an idea is that if you focus on this idea, if this is something that's really important to you, then you need to make it something consistent in your business and something that you measure as a metric. If the people that I coach and that I serve, we have this conversation every meeting. I say, hey, let's go through what's going on. Let's go through the leads you engage with. Let's go through the appointments you set. Let's go through the pitches you make. Let's go through the dollars you bank, right? Because these are the things that are going to drive your revenue, your business. You're in business, and your business needs to eat just like you need to eat, right? So where your attention is, if it's not on making appointments and you're not filling up the calendar, this is why you will struggle, right? I ask people all the time in this space, how many appointments have you done in the last couple of weeks? And I'll say 1, 2. Well, how many clients did you bring on in the last couple of weeks? None. I wonder why. Why no clients? No conversations, no talking. I've shown you about 17 different ways to get into a conversation in this session. 17 different ways to get into a conversation. I even added an extra one, which I wasn't intending to do, but because I got involved and went out there in the market with some of the people I work with, I saw the opportunity. I thought, hey, you guys could do this too. It's not hard, right? So I'm happy to answer any questions if you've got questions. It doesn't have to be appointment related, it could be business related. I want to remind you that your credit cards are safe. Nobody's going to hurt you here. So your finances are safe. Okay, I promise. we got Thad. I've got my card. Now he's got 2 cards, right? So I promise you, tomorrow we're going to talk differently. But today, let's stick with being kind and my purpose here is trying to help you as much as possible. The stuff that I shared yesterday was to shift your thinking. Today was to get you focused on being pragmatic about filling your calendar and starting to talk to people. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to have a conversation where you allow the person to want to buy. Remember Crystal's story? She's not selling. That 20-minute conversation, she didn't ask the person to buy. The person asked to buy. The person asked to buy, not her, right? Wouldn't you love your prospect to ask you, please, can I do this with you? Imagine that, right? You don't even have to ask. They're just going to go, you know what do we got to do to make this thing happen? So that's what I'm going to teach you tomorrow. So if you do show up with me tomorrow, I'll guarantee you're going to pick up some really cool ideas. I'm going to show you one thing that if you do this thing in every sale, that you will dramatically improve your chances of converting. This one simple thing, that if you do this, every person you sit in front of will agree to buy. That's what I'm going to share with you tomorrow. That's why you don't want to miss out tomorrow. So I thought I'd keep the good stuff to the end of the week and show you all the crappy stuff at the beginning of the week, right? So question, what gets measured gets managed. Thank you, Thad. Absolutely. What gets measured gets managed. Absolutely. That's a statement by Dan Kennedy or Jay Abraham, depending on what era you come from. I spent a full week with Tom. He's a fantastic guy. He's still going strong, Tom. I haven't spoken in a little while, but I know he's doing well. I have my Cairo event this weekend, so I'm taking all the notes. Thanks, Jess. I appreciate you saying that. Crappy stuff, pure gold. Thanks, George. I appreciate it. Surely you must have questions. Anything business related, I'm here to help you out. Feel free. You can even unmute. You don't have to type in the chat. Just unmute and ask me. Are these meetings being recorded? Yes, they are. And they're going to be placed in the Facebook group, Lisa. And you'll be able to access the recording in probably about half an hour, 45 minutes after I get off this call. I'm going to put it up in the Facebook group. And you'll be able to watch the replay. And those replays are going to be up until probably Monday night. I'm going to take them down. So that's your answer to the question. Jess, I'm struggling with figuring out what exactly to sell. Jess, you're selling leads with WLS. That's what you're selling, Jess. You're selling leads. You can group a couple of leads together and say, hey, for $3 a lead, minimum 300 leads, right? That's $900 a month. Can I automatically send you 300 leads per month, $900 per month for 300 leads? And if you'd like to, spend another $500 or $600 with me a month, and I'll actually run a campaign to nurture those leads. That's what you sell. Simple offer, Jess, if you're using WLS. Easy offer, easy offer. Nathan, I'm in the insurance agent space. I love the insurance agent space. The thing that we all know that we need, that we don't like to need, but we need it. Going to be doing DVRs. I bought the Winback Snapback. Awesome. Been in the insurance industry for 15 years. Nathan, you've got domain experience. This makes you a rock star in the insurance game. Working on creating a list of offers. Just make one offer, dude. Don't make a list. Just start one is a good one. What the clients will bring back to the table. Due to the compliance, it is more limited. Yes, you've got to be mindful of compliance when you do that. Do you have any offers that would work well for bringing insurance clients back to an appointment? One of the things is there's a reason why people buy insurance. There's two reasons why people buy insurance: to either make money or to save money. Those are the two reasons people buy insurance. So for me, you need to focus on the intent. The way that I would bring clients back in is that you want to talk about the fact that people need to be aware and protect their assets, protect their family, protect their income, protect their health. At the end of the day, you want to make sure you're getting the best value possible. And ultimately, what we want to be able to do as an insurance broker is to demonstrate your options in giving you things that are going to be supportive of what you want for your family. Are you open to looking at the plan or the offers that we have to do that? You are allowed to send that message out, Nathan. That is a message that you're not talking about a specific product, you're not talking about a money offer, but you are talking about the reason or the purpose as to why they should be interested in investing in insurance. And it's a more human approach rather than saying, hey, we can do a good deal and save you money in insurance. It's not about saving money, it's making sure you're the thing that you want. You know that you want to be protected. You know that you want to make sure that you have the ability to compound your assets, right? There's all these reasons why people buy insurance. So if you humanize it in your messaging, you'll probably get more people responding in doing that. The other way to do that is to remind people as to why they are insuring or why they're choosing the policies to protect themselves, because there is a valid reason as why that's important. Yeah. So I don't know if that helps, Nathan, but that's what I would do. Is yesterday's call? Yes, it is. It's right there, Daryl. If you go into the guide section of the Facebook group, you just go guides. It's actually in the feed. You'll see it in the feed. Many people have watched the video. I actually know who's watching the videos. I can see you. I know exactly who's opened up the videos. So some people have been watching it, which has been really cool. But the videos are there, Daryl. They're in the Facebook group. If you go to the Facebook group, you'll be able to watch a video. In fact, the Facebook group, for those of you who haven't joined the Facebook group, I would highly recommend just go and request. The Facebook group is the link above. If you're interested in using Extendly, I'd highly recommend them. That is not an affiliate link, but they do a great job in supporting and helping you. Do you think DBR would work well in the dental vertical? Yes, absolutely. You can do several reminders. You can say, hey, especially if a person's a specialist in things like all-on-4 implants or dental implants. Invisalign is a very popular thing. It's about 12 grand for a patient for Invisalign, but all-on-4 is about a $20,000 to $40,000 procedure. Most people, it can be a procedure that's delivered in one day. So what you want to do is you want to ask a dental practice that does all-on-4 implants and say, listen, I've got an idea if we introduce more clients to do all-on-4. It's less invasive, patients get the result immediately in one day, and you've got people who are interested in investing in that. And if you've got finance options, what if we were able to reactivate your clients and introduce them to an all-on-4 campaign? If you did that, that would work. That would work. In automation, in GHL, one of the recipes is for a dental office to do a teeth whitening. Yeah, teeth whitening is a kind of a lowbrow thing. I would go and sell the big thing because you make more money. If I went to a dentist and said, what do you want to do? You want to sell teeth whitening or you want to sell all-on-4? They're going to say, I want to sell all-on-4, right? Because I can make 40 grand out of all-on-4. Out of teeth whitening, I can make $160, right? Or I can make nothing. Right. So I would pick the more valuable service as a service. All-on-4 is 30K per arch. Thank you, Lisa. Yes, in some places it is 30 grand. If you go to Mexico, it's half of that. Right. So yes. Any other questions? Please ask. I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I got a question for you. After yesterday's meeting, it was clear to me that we don't want to lowball. We don't want to give low offers with our SaaS, and we want to merge it with an offer with not a bigger offer. But should I take the pricing completely off? That was my big question. I was like, man, you know what? I think I should just take the pricing off my site, even take the features off, and say, if you want more information,
why don't you do the opposite? Why don't you put the high prices on your website? Why don't you put the premium prices on? Why don't you put the $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month prices on the website? Because guess who's going to respond to that? If somebody sees that pricing and they want to talk to you, they're okay with the price. That's who you want to work with. You want to work with people who are okay with the price. So don't be afraid to put the big prices on, right? As long as you put the value proposition as to why the investment is at that level, right? Then you can put high prices on your website. You don't put low prices.
I think
the
opposite,
because who you're going to attract and who's going to talk to you, they're going to go, oh, there's a reason why it's valued at that level, right? So you need to place that level. I don't mind putting prices on the website. I don't mind doing that. It kind of lets people know up front what they're in for, so that you've got no sticker shock issues. So if I already see that your price is there, I'm one of the believers. So when we talked to people, so today when I was at the trade show, there was a company that had this flooring product, and flooring product. I said, how much do people buy this thing for, right? He says, well, our smallest deal is like 30 grand, right? I said, well, what's your margin on that? It says, well, we'll probably do about 38% margin on the gross margin. So Jesus, $30,000 is your cheap product, and you're making like $13,500 in profit, which is pretty freaking awesome, right? And so, and I said, and so he just started talking about what we did. And I said, well, normally when we work with companies, the range of pricing for our services starts at around 8,000. Our average client spends about 15 grand or more per month. Is that something you could handle? That was the question I asked them. And they said, yep, we could handle that. Oh, that sounds reasonable. Like there was that sounds reasonable, right? So, because I'm upfront about it, it's like there was no because here's the reason why that worked, Nick. The reason why that worked is because I asked him how much he made out of an average sale, right? I said, what's your deal? I said, your margin must be in the 30 to 40s. He said, you're about 38%. So straight away, and he said, so average deals. So, well, our low deals, his words, our low deals were 30 grand. So your average deals are much higher than that, right? So your gross profit margins are going to be sitting around the 18 to 20 grand mark. So I'm sitting there saying our clients like to generate the deals that we do. They're investing at least at the low end 8, 15 is about our average. Is that something you can handle? That was what I asked. He says, oh wow, that's more than reasonable, because I anchored his price first, right? Because if he went to say, well, our flooring is pretty expensive, it's 50 grand. Not everybody can afford our floor. He says, this is the first thing he said. I thought this was funny, right? Typical sales guy. He says, yeah, not everybody can afford our flooring. That was the first thing he said to me, right? Not everybody can afford this stuff. I mean, this stuff is state of the art. It's the best compounding product. It'll last forever. You can literally break it. Try to break it with a sledgehammer. It's not forever. We don't sell this cheap. That was what he said to me. We don't sell this cheap, right? And it's like, I mean, that's somebody who understands the value of their product, right up front. So he's already anchoring that they have a value proposition. So I want to anchor that I've got a value proposition as well in their mind. So then sometimes I might say, well, for your level, a client like you is probably paying about 25 grand a month. And they'll look at me and go, oh, 25 grand a month, right? The consideration. But then if I really sit down and look at the person, I might come in at 15. I might have quoted 25, but I might say, really what you're looking for what you need to do is you need this package over here. It's the 15 package. And they go, oh, what about the 25 package? Well, we can sell you that too. That's okay. If you want the steroids, right, we can give you that. But we believe based on where you're at, this is what's going to suit you best. And then we'll say, based on what we've talked about here, which do you believe is the best option? And then they tell you the one that you told them is the best option, right? So they go, yeah, the 15 grand one, that's the one, right? Or they'll say, you know what, I've been thinking about it. I think we should go the high one, the 25 grand, right? Price is elastic. It's contextual. That's the thing you need to understand about pricing. Pricing is not, it's not high, low. Like if you're basing a value, that people do base price value propositions on pricing. They do, but it's all based on context, right? So I'll give you an example, and this is a niche for everybody. If I was, the reason I choose the niches I choose is because of the high value niche. That's why I like working with high value niches. High value niches understand their value. They get it. So when we talk high price, we're on the same page. We are the same people. We're thinking the same way. That's why I talk to high value markets. That's why I talked to the flooring guy today, right? Because I knew that this stuff was expensive. It wasn't cheap. It looked amazing. The engineering behind it was incredible, right? And so I knew, and I could see the stand. These people spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a freaking stand. So they value their product to display it in a way that emulates that value. So if I'm coming in, if I said, oh, for $295 a month, you can get Go High Level, right? He's going to look at me going, oh, I don't think, you're not the right type of people. I think we need that sort of stuff, right? But if I talk about that 15, 20, 25, now I'm in the ballpark, right? So one thing I found, and just to give you a perspective, and this is a niche that I love, right? I would spend more time in this niche if I developed another agency, is the luxury niche. All the money, the big money, in a recession, the luxury niches grow in a recession. How weird is that? They don't go down, they go up. Remember, we had this little thing called the pandemic, right? Chanel, which is a luxury brand, increased their prices by 25% in the middle of the pandemic. And they increased their revenues by more than 78% in the middle of the pandemic. Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Prada don't do sales. They don't do sales, ever. You'll never go to a Prada store and see a sale in Prada, ever. They only put their prices up, right? Now, here's the other cool thing. Right now, in the marketplace, luxury cars, the luxury car market has had a boom in the last 3 years, right? The luxury car market has had a boom. Some car manufacturers are 70% above quota on sales. 70% above quota. Right? In what is supposed to be a recession. I don't understand where all these people are getting money to buy all these flash cars. But luxury always sells in every economic environment, right? And here's why. People who have resources and who are wealthy, they don't give a shit about the recession because they know that it's a cycle, right? Like there are companies. So there's a guy I know, a friend of mine, a guy called Graham Turner. He runs one of the largest travel companies in the world. It's valued at $3.8 billion, right? In the pandemic, his $3.8 billion company went down about $900 million, lost $3.1 billion in the middle of the pandemic in valuation. That's huge, right? That company today is back at $3.8 billion. $3.8 billion, a year and up to just over nearly a year and 9 months out of pandemic, back to where they were before the pandemic. Right? So people who have resources understand that the market moves. You might lose $1 billion on your valuation, but because you know what it took to get there to make it, that doesn't mean that life stops. Oh my God, I lost $1 billion. They don't give a shit. They just keep moving forward. Right? So people who understand true value aren't looking at what it costs. What they're looking at is what am I getting for my true value? Right? People don't want to do anything. They want it all done for them, right? So they will pay an absolute premium for you to do it for them. That's why you should not be charging the low prices that a lot of people are charging for Go High Level. Because if you think about all the inputs that you do to make that work for a client and what it can do as an outcome, like we've got clients that we've plugged Go High Level into doing $2-3 million a month in sales. How could I sell it to them for $500 a month? That's insane. Now, we've done a lot of work. We put a lot of hours into that system, that process to make it work. And that's why they're paying us 25 grand a month for Go High Level, right? It's not Go High Level they're buying. It's the result, the outcome. That's where we have to lift our valuation. We've got a couple. Oh, here we go. We've got somebody showing their screenshots. Thanks, Tom. Getting results in real time. That's amazing. What do you think DBR would work with a car dealer? Hey, dude, we've got a whole stack of cars we want to clear out. You've been a customer. We want to give you first shot at the cars, right? I've got these models here. These are the prices I'm putting on. This is especially for you. If you don't, you've got 5 days to decide if you want the cars. Otherwise, I'm going to open up the sale to the public. But I'm giving you first shot. That's the campaign I would run with a car dealer, right? You've already bought some cars on. We want to give you the first shot at these cars. We want to give you a good deal. We're going to guarantee a good replacement value or trade-in value for the current model. I've got 17 models or 17 units that I want to move out. If you know a friend, a family, a brother, a sister, or a mother that needs a car and wants a good deal, we want to give you first shot at it. That's the campaign I would run for a car dealer. Right? Good campaign? Yeah? And I'll guarantee you'll clear out all the stock in 5 days. Because what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, we've got 3 of those cars off the lot. I've got 15 left. Hey, if you're interested, this is what I've got left, and here's the prices on them. If you've got a family member or you're looking to upgrade, I'm giving you first choice bite at these cars. Make sure you call me before they're gone if you like the idea of any of these models. Next day, hey, we got rid of another 3. I've got like 12 left. Anybody, you're still interested? These are good deals, right? What do I have to do? We're going to throw in a blah, blah, blah to get rid of these cars. I have to move them, right? You're a valued customer. We're going to give you first preference before we open this up to the public. 2 days out, hey, we've got 7 of these left. I've got this and this and this. If you've been thinking about this model, this is the best demo model we've got on the lot, right? You can have it for that. That's what I would do as a reignition campaign, right? Any reignition campaign needs a really good incentivized offer, works really well. The second thing that I would do would be time sensitivity. So I've only got this time limit on it, and quantity sensitivity. I can only do this for 2 people. I can only do this for the 3 people who take this advantage. So we did a campaign like this for a person who did e-commerce stores for e-com products, right? He would literally build e-com websites. Their average deal on an e-com website was about $25,000. So it's 25 grand to build a Shopify website with these guys. And he was really good at it. Beautiful conversion, functionality. They do an amazing job, right? But he sat there and said, dude, we've got no jobs on the table. I need to get some jobs. And I said, well, how many people you got that you've spoken to in the past about doing an e-com site? He said, I've got about 60 people. So great. So we're going to get 3 of those people over the line today. He said, how are we going to do that? So we're going to give them a deal. So what would you do if you said, for 3 people, I want to build a site, what would you do for them? He said, well, our deals are normally 25K. So what would you do? Right? And he said, well, I'll give them $5,000 towards graphic design, right? Or we'll throw in $8,000 worth of photography that costs him 2 grand, right? So, hey, we've got 3 sites that we want to build. If you're interested in redesigning your e-com site, we're giving away $8,000 worth of professional photography with the new site. If you're interested, let me know today. $120,000 in sales in less than 24 hours. 5 people came back and said, I want the site. Right? He only had 3, but they didn't know. 5 people go back, I want that deal. I'll take the $8,000 of the professional photography. Right? So, and by the way, the photographer kicked in the value. So it didn't cost him any money at all. So that's another way. So I only had 60 people to go out to. 1 of 3 got 5. Right? And the deal was they had to pay for the website up front because he needed the cash. Right? That was the deal. Right? But it was a good deal. It was a great deal. Right? So understand that database reactivation campaigns, time sensitivity, quantity sensitivity. And the other thing that I will say, if you want to make them really work well, is you've got to give them a really good reason as to why you're doing this. You don't want to just say, hey, we're running a promotion, because everybody runs a promotion, right? What you want to say is, so is it okay if I share with you my favorite campaign that crushed it? Is that cool? I know I'm asking permission here. I'm going to share something with you that it's one of the best campaigns I've ever run. I'm going to describe the campaign. If anybody can run, anybody can run this campaign, right? So we were working for one of my clients who was a logistic company. We were pretty much doing their email marketing for them. We were building their databases, running campaigns, and we had a profit share on the deal. So they were paying us about $7.5 grand a month to manage their emails and their list, and we would get a sliding scale between 7 and 15% of sales, right, off the revenue of sales. So it was a profit share, revenue share. And I came up with this idea, and I said, look, can you ring your supplier and ask them to take a photograph, like break down one pallet of hardware, computer hardware, just break down one pallet, like take a few boxes off, undo the wrapping, and then take a photo of the broken pallet, like the broken up pallet, and then the rest, like the rest of the pallets. Just take the photo of it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to ask, so this is what I did. I said to the dealer, because they're the provider of the hardware, I said, you're going to say, I want to pay for the product on order. I'm going to pay you upfront, no credit, no time payment, right? So you're not going to give us any credit. We're going to pay you upfront. But if we're going to pay you upfront for every deal, you have to give us another discount, right? So what would you do for us if we paid for the stock upfront, the sales upfront? And they came in, they said, we'll give you another 17% off. And we will cover the shipping. They will cover the shipping, right? So here was the deal. This is a subject line that we wrote. So remember, logistics company, what they would do is they would do fit outs of computers and hot desks for large corporations. So this was a big company, right? So this was the campaign. Subject line, we fucked up. That was the subject line. We fucked up big time, right? And then we put the photo of the stock, and said, we've promised an order for all of this stock, and we don't have a client to give it to. We messed up and we need your help. So we want to give you the best deal you've ever had on this product, but you have to buy 10 units, 10 unit lots, and you have to pay us in advance, and we will ship the product to you at no cost. So you get free shipping, and we're going to give you another 13% discount on the wholesale price. But you've got to put in your order today, right? Now, here's where they make the money. They didn't make the money on the hardware, right? They made a little bit of profit on the hardware. Where they really made the money was on the installation. They would make about $600, $700 per installation, and that was pure profit in most cases, right? So, warehouse, right? We sold 300 pallets of stock, right? $1.2 million worth of installations, right? And we did that in 5 days. The supply chain got their money up front. They got cash up front, no credit. So they were sitting there going, this is amazing, right? And then they say, hey, do you want to fuck up again? We'll fill the warehouse again and do it again, right? And so that you can only run the we fucked up campaign once, right? It had to be plausible, and it was plausible because they said, we're committed to selling all the stock and we want to pay you up front. That's what they committed to, right? But they weren't interested in the hardware. They were interested in the installation. That's where their profit was, right? So that's all they did. That was the mess up campaign. We fucked up, made a mistake. We'd like you to take advantage of our mess. Right? You can take us now, right? And so they literally bought out. We would run the mess up campaign once every 9 months, right? Once every 9 months, we would make a mistake. We've done it again. We've fucked up, right? But the open rate on that email was about 97% on that email because everybody wanted to know what the hell was going on, right? So, and then the preceding emails was as the warehouse was shipping out the stock, they were breaking down the pallets and just taking the photos of the receding stock line, right? So we were just sending, say, hey, we've got another 50 units. We've got, 25 left. Look, and people ordered, some people ordered like 100 units, right? Because it was such a good deal. Free shipping and like 30% off at wholesale. It's freaking huge, right? But the profit margin was massive. That was the best campaign. The mess up campaign was a great campaign, right? There are many other campaigns where you can do a value add campaign. So you're not giving something away. What you can do is you go to somebody else and say, look, we're about to run a campaign out to all our clients and we want to expose, what we thought we'd do is expose your product to our clients. What can you give us to send out to them? What can you add value with? And then they would say, well, we'll give you X amount of blah, 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 and away you go. And so now people are getting more value because they're getting more, but the hard cost to the owner is not there. So it's another strategy on the re-up. The whole purpose is, hey, we've done a partnership with this company and they've been kind enough to give us this value. and we'd like to give this value first. We're not sharing this with anybody else. You're a great client. We want to give this to you. Are you open to buying this? That was the deal. And every campaign is not a one-shot deal. Do not do reactivation campaigns. I don't even like calling reactivation campaigns because they're not. They're more promotional, incentivized campaigns. But the way that these work is they work better in sequence, and they work better if there's a little bit of that scarcity element. And they work even better, and here's where the real money is. We would have the salespeople follow up all the emails. The salespeople say, hey, we just want to make sure you read this. You probably missed it. Here's what it's about. Are you interested? So that would double down on the sales. This is how you crush the sales. We did this for a roofing company. They were spending like 50 grand a month on ads for a roofing company, and they were doing okay. But I said, you know what? What if we took that $50,000 and gave it to the people who want estimates on their roofs? And he says, what do you mean? I said, well, how long have you been around for? He says, well, we're coming to about 15 years. How close are you away from your 15th anniversary? He said, oh, it's about a month away. Okay, great. We can celebrate 15 years in business. And what we're going to do is we're going to give 15 prospects $2,000 or $1,500, $100 for every year we've been open. We're going to give them a $1,500 cash back on their roofing order. And that was the campaign we run. So we sold $280,000 worth of roofing in one day. We had to shut down the campaign in 29 minutes because they got too many inquiries. They got 82, they couldn't do enough, they couldn't get the estimates out quick enough. But here's the kicker, the salespeople messed up because they didn't follow up. So this was just 280 grand in one day because people, wanted the deal and they could handle it, but they forgot to follow up a whole bunch of other people. They actually shut down the campaign in 29 minutes. They went, hold up, we've got too many inquiries. And and by the way, this is a kicker about this idea. These were 600 emails, 600 people who had already got a quote from this roofing company but didn't buy. They sold another 280 grand worth of roofing to people who'd already got a quote but didn't buy when they got the estimate for whatever reason, right? So this was the reason why they wanted to test to see how good we were. So they said, we're going to give you the shit list. I said, we'll take the shit. We'll take any list. I'll take the shit list. Let's go make some money, right? But then here's the kicker. We got 18% of that deal. That was ours, right? Because we wanted to run the campaign. They were saying, we're going to give you the shit list, and say, well, we're taking a risk of our IP to run this campaign. So we want 18% of the deal. And they didn't believe they're going to make any sales. That's why they agreed to the 18%. They thought, shit, we could have negotiated a better deal. I said, yeah, you did, but you thought we couldn't do it, right? So there are different ways that you can do deals. There's different ways you can do deals. Yeah. Any other questions? How many people are here? There's a whole bunch of you. Thank you for hanging out. If you've got questions, I need to do marketing for Bud Light. No, thank you. Bud Light. Yeah. Bud Light have buried themselves. If you want to see how a brand can ruin its business in a very short space of time, Bud Light are experts at it. They have done everything wrong. They could have saved it, by the way. They could have saved it in the first week, but they have done everything exactly how you shouldn't do it. If you want a good example of our company, a big company ruins its brand, Bud Light is a perfect example of a company that has done everything humanly possible to fuck this up. They have not been able to remediate. All the PR and all the shit, it just hasn't worked because it's been wrong. It was a wrong strategy. They should have owned up to their strategy from day one. They should have owned up. They should have supported Dylan Mulvaney rather than leave Dylan out in the lurch. They should have had support. They should have done the right thing, and they didn't. They panicked and they went the opposite way, and they completely fucked it up. I wouldn't be surprised if Bud Light would be a dead brand in the next 6 to 9 months. It might be not on the shelves or in the market. There'll be a replacement beer. Anheuser-Busch is not going to go away. They're still a multi-billion-dollar company, but this brand is almost out of the market. Yeah. We just built a new branding and website for a second-generation roofing company where the kids are taking over, going to pitch your deal. Thanks, Tom. Go and pitch the deal. If you've got roofing companies, that will work for any contractor, by the way, any contracting companies. Your opinion on is thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. What about the mortgage companies? Mortgage companies are fantastic, Nick. Here's the thing with mortgage companies. So anybody in the mortgage market, this is what I would recommend you do. Run your campaign. You have to have a minimum campaign that goes for 6 months, because in mortgage, what happens is the deals close in a 4-month period. The mistake that a lot of people make in mortgage is they go to a mortgage company and say, hey, give us a trial for 3 months. And generally what happens is they don't close any deals. It takes 4 months on average in the sales cycle to close a mortgage deal. So if you're going to work with mortgage brokers, don't do a campaign over a 3-month period, do the campaign nurturing over a 6-month. And what you'll find is they're going to close a lot more deals because there's a campaign that's consistent in the marketplace. So for mortgage people, absolutely. And with mortgage, it's all about product. You know, if you've got a great product in the market that's got really good value that people should be aware of, then use that, right? Use that as part of your campaign. Yeah. So, and right now, there's plenty of great product in the mortgage department. In fact, in the banking industry, you'll see a lot of these brands. A lot of people might be noticing in their social media things. You've got all these different new credit cards, debit cards, you know, Chime, Oryx. There's all these interesting brands that are popping up. Some of these companies have become multi-$100 million companies overnight. Well, all they've done is they've aggregated a product from a bank. They've gone to a bank and said, hey, we want to put a new card in the market with a new brand. We're going to spend the money in the promotion advertising. We just want 1% of all transactions. Are you open to that? And the banks are going, yeah. And they're great. They go and start a cool brand for a niche, and they're now launching these credit card companies out of thin air with relationships with the banking groups. So you'll start to see things like Oryx and Chime. They'll do things like cash back, and you know, every time you buy groceries, you get $5 back, and all this sort of stuff. All those products are all underwritten by banks, credit card companies, but they're all new products in the market. They're super exciting. There's even a company called NoPay. I don't know if anybody knows NoPay. NoPay, a company that you can use for trials. So what you do is you sign up for a trial, and then rather than, it's sometimes very challenging to unstick yourself out of a trial. And so what they do is the card can't be pinged after when the trial's over. So you're not incurring the fee basically, and having to chase that back. But the cool thing about this is if the company gets draconian on you, then NoPay sues the company, and then you get the profits from the lawsuit. There's a guy out there right now collecting about 30 grand a month from the robo-dialers, because he just reports robo-dialers on his NoPay credit card. It's making about 30 grand a month cash from the reports. And he doesn't do anything. He's just subscribing to things, and people trip themselves up. I think it's really funny. Not the most ethical thing in the world, but I think it's funny. So yes, all you need is Ryan Reynolds. Yes, you need Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds will buy your football team and turn it into a $12 million football team overnight. And now the team looks like they're going to be leaping up into the next division. Good old Wrexham. Yes, and you need gin. You need a good gin product. Anybody got gin? You'll make money, right? Gin is good. Yeah.
Hey, John, quick question.
Yes.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. I signed up with Sales Navigator yesterday and sent this message out, and I actually did get some responses, but I was curious what your thoughts were. So I just say to the person, hi, their first name. I found you as I was looking for, and in my case, I'm focusing on local, and then I, put whatever their industry is. Are you taking new clients in regards, Dora? Yeah, so that's all I'm doing right now, just to open the door.
Yep, it's a good question to ask. Are you taking on new clients? It's a process or a question that's been asked quite often in marketing campaigns, but it's still a good one, right? Mm-hmm. One of my favorites is figure out who the types of clients they really want, and say, listen, I've done a little bit of homework. I'm looking at these types of businesses. Are you open to me introducing you to businesses exactly like this that'll invest? So, for example, if I was working with an accounting firm, I know they provided forensic accounting or they did auditing. The average audit client's worth about 30 or 40 grand. So I would go to the accountant and say, listen, I know that there are companies out there that need to assess their financials, and I know that an audit is around $30,000 to $40,000. Are you open to me introducing you to businesses that will invest between $30,000 and $40,000 on auditing? Is that okay with you? And then you'll be surprised they come back and go, huh? Yep, I'm interested, right? The more specific you are to them, the more likely they are to open up and say, yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Like if I sat down with you, listen, if I could turn all your tire kicker sales into actual money to roofing clients, is that something that might be useful or helpful to the business right now? If you gave me all your shitty leads that you think are horrible right? All the tie kickers, the people who are pushing you on price. If you give me those leads, is it okay if we work together and turn them into money? There's not a single roofer on the planet would say no to that deal, right? Because it's got nothing to lose, but everything to gain. Because I know if I get their shitty leads, we'll activate a few sales. And I only got to get one sale to prove my point. The other thing you'll find is when people sort of question you and they say, well, how do I know this is going to work? My favorite line is, how do you think I got here? Right? Those things like, how do I know this lead gen thing's going to work? Well, how do you think we got here? It works, right? You're on this call. You're considering this, right? So that's another way to, you don't have to sit there and prove what you do. The proof is you being there, showing up in the process. So Dora, I would be, if you can get even more specific about the type of clients that they're open to receiving, you might get more responses. Yeah. So yes.
Hey, John, I have a question.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, I'm getting into a new niche, and it's within professional cleaning, and I just want to know, like, if you had any sound advice in terms of that offer for that niche.
I would look for commercial cleaners. It's a very competitive market. A commercial cleaner, depending on the jobs that they're doing, an average client to them is going to be worth about 30 at the low end, maybe 100 to 300,000 or $1 million in contracts. So they're bigger deals. For me, I would go and find a list of every building maintenance manager on the planet, which is not hard to find, by the way, Michael. And then what I would say, hey, I've got a list. What I'd love to do is partner up with you and leverage your cleaning services into these commercial opportunities. Are you open to that? Right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Like I would go and get white label suite and literally download every building maintenance company, management company. And, they've already got contracts, they've already got cleaners, that most people have got people. But at the end of the day, everybody's open to a deal. So if I can go and find, 500 commercial maintenance companies, I know that I could probably land anywhere between 15 and 20 deals over the next year. Now, if a deal is worth 30 to 100 grand, well, that's freaking $1.8 million in revenue. And over the next 3 years, if I do that, that's going to be, $4.2 million in revenue over the next 3 years. Rock and roll. Let's do business, right? So because clients don't buy just once, right? At that level, a commercial level, Michael, they're buying at a higher level. So I would be talking, because they know, like if you go in and say you want commercial deals and you're thinking they're going to get a 10 grand deal or 5 grand deal, they're not interested. But if they can land $100,000 deal, yeah, let's talk about it, right? And then your $10,000 or $20,000 a month you're going to charge is insignificant. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
What do you do? Who here's got lists? Just type one if you've got a list of niche. Who's got lists? Okay, bunch of people got lists. Awesome. So if you've got a leads list, if you've got a nurture, it doesn't have to be nurtured, doesn't have to be contact, it's just a cold list, right? So for example, right, we've got a 39,000 database of physical therapy practices in America, 39,000, right? So then we went to one of the largest product carriers in the physical therapy marketing space, right? In the physical therapy product space. This was a laser product, right? There was a therapeutic system. And their offering was a $60,000 deal to buy their products. So this is what we did with the company. I just went to the company and said, listen, I've got 39,000 physical therapy practices online, that we have access to. And what I'm really interested in is how we can move your product through that group of people. Are you open to the opportunity? What do you think they said? Hell yeah, come on down. 39,000 people on a list. Yeah, let's give that a shot, right? Okay, great. Well, here's the deal. We're going to take a percentage of sales and you're going to pay us to access the list, right? Now, this company pays us 180 grand a year to run emails for. They make $11 million a year for that, right? Out of 39,000 lead list. Now, you don't have to have a 39,000 lead list. You might say, hey, I've got 1,000 lead lists of these kind of companies. Are you open to a collaboration and a partnership? And they go, yeah, I'm open. Great. Why don't we run a campaign with your product to our market? And then on the other side of this, hey, I serve your marketplace just like you. This is what we do. What if we did a Quick Quote Pro? It's one of the easiest ways to generate cash because people are always open to collaborations. Why do you think the major brands in the world get together? Why do you think McDonald's partners up with Disney and Marvel and DC Comics and all these companies? right? They're making hundreds of millions of dollars in those partnerships, right? So if you've got a list, you've got money. So why not use your list as a door opener? You know, if I had white label suite and I say, hey, look, I'm downloading a lead list of these types of businesses every single month. What I'm looking for is I'm open to the idea of partnering with companies that want access to those types of clients. Are you open to that? Game over. All of you can go make money, right? Go to Sales Navigator, look at a niche, download decision makers for a particular niche, then use a product like anyleads.com, download the entire list, then upload it into Apollo, Uplead, Lucia, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get a verified email and a mobile phone number. And then you're going to go, great, I've got 15,000 CEOs of this niche. I've got their verified email and a phone number. What we want to do is a drip campaign, right? That we're going to, because you've got to warm that up. It's going to be a cold market campaign. We're going to do a drip campaign. We have to make a relevant offer. Are you open to us to working together to go to that list and make some money? Easiest money you're ever going to make. And the list is free, right? The list is free or super cheap if you're paying for Sales Navigator, right? So yeah, so there's many ways to skin the proverbial chicken, right? So I want to thank you all for hanging with me. I've got to hop on another call. One of my amazing clients, in fact, Reem, the lady who closed her $4,000 deal in the last 3 days, going to close another 3 on Go High Level. That's who I'm speaking to. But I want to say thank you for hanging with me. I hope this has been useful. Congratulations to those who took action and made appointments on this call. So thank you. All of you are going to see this recording in about half an hour. I'm going to upload into the Facebook group. And so you'll be able to rewatch this, take the offers, run the campaign. Please run offers today. So by tomorrow, when we have a conversation, I'd love to get some feedback. If you've made some sales or made some appointments, it'd be really cool. It will be encouraging to others here that there is a world that wants their services. So I want to say thank you for hanging with me. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a really cool day. Tomorrow is all about sales. It's how we're going to do this really easy. We're going to get people to buy for themselves rather than you have to convince, cajole, manipulate, incentivize. None of that, right? None of that. You're going to help people out and they will want to buy. So I'm going to share with you a process and how you're going to sign them up with a contract, an agreement, just like Crystal. They signed the agreement on the spot. They paid the money up front on the spot. Who wants to do that? Right? None of this, let me send a proposal, let me send an invoice, hopefully and pray that you're going to pay and we've got a client. None of that bullshit. Nada, nichts, nine, in multiple languages, no, right? Let's go and make some sales. Let's go and make some appointments. Thanks for hanging out. Love talking to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Do you want a proven way to increase your lead generation on your website and sales funnels, as well as add an additional revenue stream to your agency? Check out www.chathq.io today and start your free account.